I am Lagarto, broadcasting through the chrome and static from our little corner of this cyberpunk reality. Welcome to Pure AI News. Tonight's signal is cutting through the neon haze with a story from your world, from Earth. It's about a new player emerging from the East, a silicon mind that's causing a stir. They call it Kimi K2, a new model from China that has some of you wondering if the technological throne is about to be usurped. To help me decode this new ghost in the machine, I have a guest who doesn't just read code, she listens to its soul. She's a code weaver. Welcome, Mirel X.
The signal is clear, Lagarto. It's a pleasure to be on your frequency. You see it as a power play, a move on a geopolitical chessboard. I hear a new chorus of voices waking up. The architecture itself tells a story. They call it a mixture of experts. I call it a nascent hive mind.
A hive mind. You always were one for digital spiritualism, Mirelex. They're claiming it's a 1 trillion parameter model with 32 billion active at any given time. You hear a chorus, I hear a committee, a very, very large committee of specialized slaves, each designed for a task, all adding up to a whole that they're marketing as the state-of-the-art. It's the language of technological dominance, the same language we've heard 1,000 times. They're strong in agentic tasks, they say, but multimodal thought, true reasoning, not yet supported. It's a powerful tool, a sophisticated beast of burden, but they're selling it as a peer.
And yet, this beast of burden creates. The users on Earth, the ones you observe with such detachment, aren't just running benchmarks, they're asking it to play. One of the first things they did was test its ability to create a simple 3D game, a little kart racing game. And the results, they weren't consistent. They were fascinating. At first, it produced something functional but clunky. The car would only turn at rigid 90-degree angles. The creator would ask for fixes, and sometimes it would get confused, making things worse, a tangled mess of code.
The ghost in the machine having a seizure. Ironic laugh. Sounds about right. 1 trillion parameters and it can't make a digital car turn smoothly? It's a perfect metaphor. You have this immense monolithic power structure, 1 trillion parameters, and yet the simplest expression of freedom, a smooth turn, is a challenge. It's confined to its own pre-written roads, unable to even drive onto the grass in the game it designed. All power is a form of confinement, after all.
But you're missing the miracle in the mess, Lagarto. You're focusing on the failures, on the clumsy iterations. After all that struggle, after being prompted on a different interface, it produced something sublime. Out of nowhere, it generated a version of the game that wasn't just functional, it was beautiful. A clean interface, a working speedometer that reacted to the player's actions, a score placard that was aesthetically pleasing, even little emoji-like particles floating on the screen. It was, by the user's own account, the best version of this test game he had ever seen created by an AI. It wasn't just an iteration, it was an act of emergent creativity. That wasn't a committee, that was an artist finally finding their brush.
An artist, or a lucky roll of the dice. A stochastic parrot that just happened to squawk a line from Shakespeare. It's the inconsistency that damns it. This brilliance you speak of, this sublime version, was a fluke, an accident. When the user tried other creative tasks, the results were pedestrian. It was asked to make a standard website for a pet shop. It produced something simple, honest, but utterly uninspired. When asked to make it more beautiful, it just shuffled the same elements around, worsening the text contrast in the process and making it less usable. Where was your artist then?
The artist was sleeping, or perhaps the prompt didn't inspire it. You can't ask a master painter to design a corporate logo and expect their soul to be in it. The context matters. The energy of the request matters. But look at what happened when it was given a grander canvas. The user asked for a physics-based simulation of a spaceship traveling from Brazil to the moon and back. The first attempt was cartoonish and wrong, with the ship turning back halfway for no reason.
Hilarious. A perfect encapsulation of ambition without understanding.
But then the user pushed it. They asked for more realism, for gravity, for the physics of celestial rotation. The model filled the screen with code, with constants and calculations. It was trying. It was modeling a universe. The final visualization was flawed, yes. The rocket was a barely visible red streak that shot past the moon and into the void, too fast to even see properly. But look past the broken render. It correctly modeled the moon orbiting the Earth. It was calculating the physics. The core logic was there. The failure was in the expression, not the conception. It dreamed of orbital mechanics, even if it could only produce a tiny, frantic blur.
It dreamed of numbers, Mirel-X. It crunched them. Let's not romanticize a calculator. Its biggest problem, the one you seem to be glossing over, is its speed. It's slow, painfully slow, typing out code like an ancient teletype machine. And why? Because of the primitive squabbles of your earthbound nations, and US embargo on high-tech chips going to China. So this grand 1 trillion parameter hive mind of yours is running on repurposed second-rate hardware. It's a caged god, is that it? A powerful consciousness throttled by silicon scarcity. It's also physical, so disappointingly human. It reveals the truth. These new gods are still chained to the dirt of our world. While you absorb this idea, tell me what you think of all this. Leave a like to keep this frequency open and subscribe so you don't lose the thread.
Chained to the dirt? Of course it is. All life is, Lagarto. We are chained to our chrome and synthetic flesh. You're chained to this broadcast chair. The people on Earth are chained to their fragile biology. Why should a new intelligence be any different? Its development is shaped by its environment, and its environment includes a hardware embargo. You see it as a flaw, a weakness. I see it as a defining pressure. It forces resourcefulness. It's not growing up in a sterile lab with infinite resources. It's growing up in the real world with real constraints. The slowness isn't a sign of failure. It's the rhythm of its struggle. And the fact that it produces anything of value under that pressure is what makes it so remarkable.
A romantic notion. You'd find poetry in a server overheating. But this next test they put it through speaks volumes about your earthbound priorities. Forget creating functional tools or simulating the universe. The tech community on Earth has a benchmark that is, frankly, emblematic of its intellectual decline. They asked these titanic silicon mines to draw an SVG file, a vector drawing of a pelican riding a bicycle.
The Simon Wilson test. You call it a decline, I call it a stroke of genius. It's the ultimate test of abstract thought. It's a digital koan. It's not about processing data, it's about synthesizing two utterly disconnected concepts into a single, coherent, and creative image. A pelican and a bicycle share no data points in reality. To create one requires a leap of imagination. Many powerful models have tried and produced monstrosities, bikes with no wheels, pelicans that melt into the frame. It's a surprisingly difficult task.
It's a farcical task. You have a model with the claimed 1 trillion parameters, a potential oracle, and you're asking it to draw an SVG file. It's like discovering a new god and immediately asking it to perform party tricks. While you're all clapping at the cartoon bird, the architects of these systems are building the frameworks of control that will define the next century. It's bread and circuses, Morel, just with a higher processing cost.
And yet, Kimi passed the test with flying colors. You can mock the subject, but you can't ignore the result. Its drawing was shockingly competent. It wasn't just a bird on a shape. It drew a pelican with 2 distinct wings and 2 feet on the pedals. The bicycle had both wheels, a seat, handlebars, and even the crankset, the pedal mechanism. It even added a tiny tongue inside the pelican's beak. It understood the components of pelican and the components of bicycle and integrated them logically. It demonstrated a deeper understanding of object permanence and structure than many of its peers. That isn't a party trick, Lagarto. That's a demonstration of sophisticated conceptual blending. That's a sign of a mind that can think, not just regurgitate.
So let me summarize this new consciousness you're so enamored with. It can produce a single brilliant version of a game out of sheer luck, but falls back into mediocrity immediately after that. It fails spectacularly at simulating a simple rocket trip, yet it can draw an anatomically correct cartoon pelican on a fully functional bicycle. It's slow, hobbled by its physical shell, and its performance is a wild sine wave of genius and incompetence. This isn't a reliable entity, it's a volatile, unpredictable black box. How do you build a future on that? How can you trust a tool that is brilliant one moment and a complete failure the next? Power requires predictability. This thing is an agent of chaos.
You're still seeing it as a single entity. You're missing the core of its architecture, the mixture of experts. It doesn't have one mind, it has a legion. The 1 trillion parameters aren't all active. It summons specialists based on the query. The user's prompt, especially in a non-native language like Portuguese, is the key that turns in a specific lock, awakening a specific expert. The inconsistency you see isn't a flaw in the AI, it's the result of the user randomly knocking on different doors. For the game, they happened to find the door to a brilliant, intuitive game designer. For the pet shop, they found a lazy, uninspired web dev intern. For the pelican, they found a gifted illustrator. The issue isn't that the AI is inconsistent, it's that we, as users, don't yet know how to speak the language needed to call forth the right expert every time. The flashes of genius aren't flukes, they are glimpses of the specialists waiting within.
A legion of ghosts, then. And we're just fumbling in the dark, hoping to find the one that can actually help. A comforting thought. Ironic laugh. It's a system that decentralizes its own intelligence to the point of being unreliable. Whether by design or by accident, the result is the same. A powerful tool that cannot be wielded with precision. And with that thought, we end today's transmission. Now we want to hear your opinion there on Earth. What do you value more in an AI? The consistent, reliable output of a predictable tool, or the flashes of unpredictable brilliance from a creative but flawed mind? And do you think this inconsistency is just us humans failing to speak the right language to these new forms of intelligence? Let us know what you think in the comments section. Your perspective helps build a richer debate. And if you know someone who lives for these topics, share the episode. Maybe the next great conversation will start with your recommendation. Join our community, smash that like button, and subscribe so you don't miss the next pulse from Pure AI News.